Ladies and gentlemen, some of you might remember when Trump came into office, he put someone in that would change the selective service from male only to include females. Some may remember, some don't. I do because I did a video on it. Well, it's happening. So now it will no longer be just men required to register for selective service, but females as well. So yes, this will impact your sons and daughters, your sisters, your cousins, even your mother, depending on the age of your parent. So this came out on NPR February 25th, 2019. Judge rules male only draft violates Constitution. Requiring only men to register for the draft is unconstitutional, a federal judge has ruled. The Military Selective Service Act, or MSSA, states that men in the U.S. age 18 through 25 must register in case the country needs a military draft. Women face no such requirement. On Friday, a federal judge in Texas ruled that a male-only draft violates the equal protection provisions in the U.S. Constitution. While historically restrictions on women in the military may have justified past discrimination, they don't anymore, wrote Senior Judge Gray Miller of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Texas. Now, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, I heard way back in the 80s them kicking around the idea of women being part of selective service, and then they kind of went silent on it. But when Trump came into office, it actually came up again. All right, let's get back to this. If there were ever a time to discuss the place of women in the armed forces, that time has passed, he wrote, citing an earlier Supreme Court decision. That case, dating from the early 1990s, had held that requiring only men to register for the draft didn't violate the Constitution. While only men were eligible to serve in combat, the court reasoned it would have made no sense to require women to register. Times have changed, the Texas judge said. In 2013, the Department of Defense officially lifted the ban on women in combat. And in 2015, it lifted all gender-based restrictions. The dispositive fact in the case that women are ineligible for combat can no longer justify the MSSA's gender-based discrimination, he wrote. The latest case was brought by the National Coalition for Men, an advocacy group dedicated to raising awareness of discrimination against men. Forcing only males to register is an aspect of socially institutionalized male disposability, the group said in a statement. Men still face prison, fines, and denial of federal loans for not registering or for not updating the government of their whereabouts. Women, it said, should face the same repercussions as men for any noncompliance. To win its case, the government needed to show that the male-only registration requirement was substantially related to Congress' important objective of drafting and raising combative troops. Judge Miller wrote, the government argued that requiring women to register for the draft might make them less likely to enlist by increasing the perception that women would be forced to serve in combat roles, he said. But that argument, Miller said, smacks of archaic and overboard generalizations about women's preferences. Defendants argument rests on the assumption that women are significantly more combat averse than men, the judge said, noting that the government hadn't presented any evidence to support that claim. The court's ruling makes sense given that women are now allowed in combat roles. Retired Marine Kate Germano told the New York Times it would be an advantage to the country and also for men who have mourned the preponderance of the burden since the draft was established, she said, of registering women. Why not leverage all of the talent pool? The ruling comes as the federal government is considering the future of the draft system, including whether women should be required to register. We are carefully considering and actively seeking input on this crucial question. The National Commission on Military, National, and Public Service said in a report last month. Ladies and gentlemen, they are going to do this thing. They're going to do this thing. They would never have this kind of ruling if they did not already have this sort of thing in mind. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Women will be drafted in America for the first time under the Trump administration, putting this in place. Actually, I kind of knew this was coming. Many of you probably saw this coming too. So now that there are so many women in the military and they're doing all kinds of different roles, including combat, they're going to move forward with this thing. They're going to move forward. And it's going to be one of those things when you have your daughters, you're going to be registering them just like your male children, or they will have to register by, the age of 18 automatically. If not, it's going to be very difficult for them to get student loans, any kind of loans they want to get through the federal government. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.